Hey guys, welcome to Hungarian's channel, and this is an interesting thing I'm gonna do, cause someone sent me this, and I was actually kind of curious. I'm like, wait, what are you sending me? And they sent me a video of something. I was like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but they said like, oh, hey, Hungary, I saw this random video, which is, I don't think it was random, but saw this random video, and I'm curious on what your thoughts are, since you are Hungarian. And I was like, what video are you sending me? And I saw the thumbnail, and it says, 16 craziest things you only see in Hungary. And I'm like, is this gonna be a negative thing or a positive thing? But it's by someone, by the channel called Lifey, and I would love to live react to this, because I'm kind of curious what my friend was talking about when they sent this to me. So I don't know if it's like the craziest things you only see in Hungary. Like, what do you mean? Like, see like landscapes or something? Like, I mean, I can maybe answer some of your questions if you like, but I don't know. They really wanted me to see this, so I was like, okay, sure. So here's a live reaction to 16 craziest things you only see in Hungary. So I really do not know what to expect or to see, but let's go.
It's impolite to sniffle if you have a runny nose. You just have to blow it. They'll give you a tissue. They'll be like, oh, here, take this. Like, get it out. Because it just doesn't make sense to them to try to keep it in if it's trying to come out. It's just like, get it out. And so you'll be in meetings and who knows where, and they blow their noses so well, so loud. So I got really good at that too. So you better get used to that. Don't feel self-conscious about blowing your nose in Hungary, because everybody does it. Another thing.
Oh my freaking gosh, yes, that is so true. In Hungarian school, like, I remember when people got sick, like, they still came to school, duh, but like, they would blow their noses all the time. For me, it was like, this is disrupting class, but no one cared. Like, it was normal. And now that she said that, that makes so much more sense. Because when I hear people sniffling, I'm like, why aren't you blowing your nose out? Like, I don't care. You can just blow your nose out. Like, you keep sniffling, it's just gonna get annoying. You keep sniffling. This explains so much. Holy cow. Huh. Now I know where, yeah, guys, yeah, if you have to blow your nose, please blow your nose. It's just gonna get worse. It's gonna get more annoying if you don't blow your, this is definitely a culture thing. Like, for me, this, what she said, that's normal. Please blow your nose. Which makes sense why a lot of my classmates were really good at doing the trumpet, because they kept blowing their nose. I could never do a trumpet because I was always like, but that is very interesting. That is, wow. I think this might be a self-discovery video, but maybe not.
Is that they're more cautious or more concerned about freezing.
Yes!
Getting cold or getting sick from being
Yes!
cold, so they don't put ice in their water. They never have ice water. And there's
No, we don't.
to it, as I came to know. It's just like your body's already trying to keep warm as it is. Like, the organs are trying to work, so as you're putting that ice water in, it just kind of freezes things up. So in the end, I can see the logic in why they don't drink ice water.
I'm kind of glad you see the logic on that. Guys, no joke. When I came to America, when I had ice cold water, just water, and then I saw people have ice in it, I'm like, why do you have ice in already ice cold water? Are you trying to get yourself sick? Are you trying to give yourself a brain freeze? I was so shocked about that in America, that they gave ice waters all the time, even when it was cold outside. Summertime, yes, Hungarians will definitely put ice in their water because, you know, it's good to keep, you know, cool. But even in the winter, or even when it's cold outside, or even when, no, it's more like even when you have super cold water. Like, I remember going into a fountain, I had super cold water. I'm like, and some people still put ice in it. Like, Americans put still ice in it. Like, why? It will take forever for you to drink this. I remember that so hard. I'm like, why are you even like, oh my gosh, this is such a cultural revelation right here. Like, this what she said, this is normal for Hungarians. What for me is crazy, Americans putting so much ice in their water even when the water is super cold already. That's just shocking to me. If Americans think that's normal, for me that's crazy. I'm like, Hungarians would think that's crazy. So what she's saying is like, and I'm glad she understands. Thank you for understanding, but for me, like, that's a huge culture shock. Like, here, like, what? Even when it's cold outside, you put ice in your water? Why? Why? question.
When it's cold outside, especially in the winter, you don't sit down on any of the benches. It's not acceptable. Or like you can. You're not going to go to prison for it.
No, you're not going to go to prison, but they're going to be concerned for you.
Old nannies and bachies, old men and old women.
Bachies and nannies.
Like, don't sit there. You're not going to have children. So it was interesting.
That's a little overboard, but yes. Old nannies and bachies will do that.
And instead of just like, here where you would just like either put it in the oven or cook on a stove or whatever, they actually went out in their yard and built a fire and had this big cauldron that they hooked up with.
Goulash!
That's this chain, and it was
Yep.
just hanging over.
That's goulash.
And it was just really neat. I was like, oh my goodness. So it's not something you would typically see. You would not see that in the big city.
No, you would not.
In this small village.
Yes.
It was
Not in the
so
city.
Chill. It was so normal to do that. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna cook over this fire in this big cauldron thing, and it was fun.
I
was like,
miss
that's so
those.
cool.
But I think the best Hungarian food I ever had was fruit soup. And
Gyümölcsleves!
It's kind of like
Yes!
fruit soup. That doesn't really work, right?
Yes!
And that's the exact same thing I thought too. Fruit soup, that doesn't really go together. It's not like peanut.
For me, that's what makes sense. Fruit soup. I know there's such thing as fruit salads, but I grew up with this gyümölcsleves, fruit soup. For him saying that is so funny. I'm like, oh, like your fruit and soup doesn't go together. I'm like, have you never heard of that? That's because as I said, I grew up in my country. I'm Hungarian. I grew up with these foods. And for him saying it's weird, it's funny because I'm like, you never had that before? Like, it makes sense. But
butter and jelly, it's not like chips and salsa. It's fruit and soup.
yes!
And
so good. Either hot or
this
cold. Both are
lady
good.
just gave it
Mostly
to us,
cold.
and she was like, hey, here it is. It looked delicious. It was like a pink, purple
It's
color,
pink and purple.
It just was glowing. And I was
Yes.
like, wow, this is what fruit's.
For me, I'm not a huge fan of the fruit inside the thing. It depends on what fruit they put. Sometimes they put like berries or like a cherry kind of thing. So I don't like actually cherry and anything. That's just me just not liking cherries. I like cherries by themselves, but not in any like jam or dessert or anything. I feel like that ruins any dessert or any kind of dish when you add that. So I never ate the cherries or the tiny berry or like the berries in the fruit soup gyümölcsleves because I just didn't like it. It didn't taste so good. But the broth or whatever it's called, the liquid, I loved it. And when they had like maybe peach in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love. We have something called peach soup. So good. It's so good. It's cold and it's very sweet. Oh my goodness, I miss my mom's cooking. Oh man, this is making me nostalgic. Like what?
So and you like it hot or cold? I was like, oh, I could try it hot. And she looked at me. She's like, no, I think you like it cold.
Yeah, cold is better.
Right? So
I
she
recommend
gave it
cold
to
is
me,
better.
And a first bite, I just fell in love. Absolutely, just drop down to the ground and just almost started worshiping the soup. It was so good.
Okay. I'm glad you like it, man.
Easy to make. Go online, look it up. But it's delicious. It's really good, and that's something that's very, very unique to Hungary is the fruit soup. So if you go to Hungary, try the fruit soup. It's really good.
You better.
won't
It's
be
so
let out.
good.
Yeah. Bad foods.
Bad foods?
Sausage. They have
Doesn't exist.
Tons of different kinds of sausage there. They have horse sausage. They have pig sausage, chicken sausage, all kinds. But there's one particular sausage that I just despised. I guess that's the good word. Hated. I don't know. It was really, really bad.
Which one are you talking about?
First of all, it looks black. It's like
Hurka?
sausage. They call
He despised the hurka. Ah, Americans. I'm just kidding. Hurka is very famous in Hungary. It's black. Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't like hurka when I was little. When we met my cousins in Hungary, hurka was always served and everybody loved it, but I didn't like it that much. I always went for the chicken or something else. Not that it didn't look, no, it actually looks amazing. It looks delicious. I think I tasted it first time. I was like, ugh. But now I like it. Like, I'll have it. I think you just need to add, I think you just didn't add some salt. Maybe that's it. But it's really good. I now would love to have hurka right now. But I understand some people have different tastes, so I can see that, but
called hurka. That's
yes,
the name for it.
hurka.
And
That's
it
so
was served to
traditional.
me, from
So
the Gypsy
good.
family. And gypsies cook really, really good food, by the way. So I
Yeah.
mean, this is just something that all Hungarians eat. This isn't just
Yes.
gypsies.
We
And,
love our
I
hurka. We
tried
love our
it, and I thought
hurka.
it was the most disgusting thing. And you ask anybody that knows me, I am very brave when it comes to food. I can eat anything, but this hurka stuff, I just could not. I could not shove it down in my throat.
Maybe you needed a different
so what it
dish.
is blood sausage, and so I mean they take every single part of the pig. I guess it's
Yeah, we do.
sausages anyways.
We even have a
but
festival,
it's just
which
the
I
way
kind of
they
don't like.
cook it and like put it
Which
together.
they actually kill the pig.
Like when you eat it, you can
And then
kind of
do
start
stuff.
picking little pieces of bones out of your teeth because it's just gross.
It can be gross, but
that's something that's really, really unique to Hungary.
that's
as well as
normal.
Hurka. So if you want to try something unique, try that.
Hurka, I recommend it. I remember not liking it, but now I do.
No,
the tastes change when you get older.
Like it very much.
There was one time, I'd only been in the country for a couple of weeks.
Weeks?
And I'd heard about this dish because they also usually have it around the holidays. And it is called cortona. And it is
Wait, what?
this pig fat jello dish. And
Wait,
you
what?
cut it out this. And it is called cortona. And it is this pig fat jello.
I think because of her
dish.
accent, I can't recognize it.
And I looked at it and I just thought, what is that? And then I thought, oh no, this is that pig fat jello that I've been hearing about. And what it is it's this like clear gelatin, kind of salty gelatin-like substance.
Gelatin?
And in it are just these hunks of meat, but it's not the kind of meat that you would want to eat. Like there was a hoof in it, or there was like part of an ear, and then it had this like paprika, the
Paprika, yes.
kind of paprika seasoning
Paprika.
type thing over it, and I took a bite. So he served me up a portion, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. And so I took a little bite of.
Interesting. I'm not familiar with that, unless her accent,
I can't.
her American accent, saying it in Hungarian.
Luckily, they were super sweet and understanding.
I wish they had it written out so I can know.
You probably won't like this, but it's my favorite, so I'll eat it. He said, oh, just try the meat. And I was looking at this hunk of meat in the middle of this gelatin, and it was I think, like part of the hoof or something. And I just thought, I can't do it. Like that one little bite of the gelatin was enough. And so I just told him, thank you.
What dish is that? I don't know.
And he's, oh, it's okay, I'll eat it. It's my favorite.
Hey, Hungarian friends, you know what she's talking in, or can you translate it?
But I did try.
I don't know what she's talking about.
But other than that, everything that I had was just delicious.
The toilets are so different.
The toilets?
You know, it's not kind of funny, but here in America we have these like big dishes filled with water. Over there, they either have like a platform that that you have to go to the bathroom on, and then like the hole, or some of them do have more of a bowl shape like we do here, but it's not as full with water.
Yes! No, that was so freaky to me. Why was there so much water in the toilet? Like, that was very, for me, it was kind of like a culture shock. Like, here in the States, why is there so much water? Some I know don't have it, but I just remember when I went visit my grandma's house, there was always so much water already there. I'm like, why? Because, or is it because when there's so much water, and when it's drained, the water takes it down, and not the water on the side? If that's the reason, that makes sense. It's culturally different, but that was at my grandma's house. Like, I don't know if that's true everywhere. How it usually works in Hungary, it's that there's not that much water. Like, there's barely any water, and then when you flush, it's the water from the side that pushes everything. Like, it drains it and pushes everything into the sewer. So, like, is that not normal there? Not normal? That's the thing I think was weird. Like, here in the States, I remember that it was just, why is there so much water in here? That makes no sense. If it's just culturally different or manufactured different, I'm not sure, but let me go back to this guy.
You have more of a bowl shape like we do here, but it's not as full with water.
Yeah, ours is more flat.
A really wild time there. They have this tradition where the girls
Easter's
have to have these painted eggs that they
Yep.
give to
Yep.
the boys. And
Yep.
if you're going super traditional, then the boys either like squirt them with water or
Yep.
dump water on the girls.
Yep.
If you're going more modern, then you spray them with perfume.
Yep. I gotta say this. Every Easter, it was really funny because it's such a tradition. And my sister, one of my sisters, she would get so many guys coming over the house. And the thing is, that time of Easter, what my family does is to avoid that. Like, to avoid guys coming over to people's houses. And, well, the thing is, like, it's, as he said, like, or actually he'll continue saying, I think he'll continue saying it, hopefully more. But, yeah, the guys come over, they say, like, a verse, and then they dump water on the girl, and what happens is in Easter, like, or what the girl does is make them sweets and give them sweets. It's a really weird, I will admit it, it's a really weird tradition, but the thing is, how my family has avoided it, we usually escaped. Like, it was kind of funny, because we always plan, like, okay, guys, we're not going to be home for this Easter, because we don't want people coming over to our house and spread. Thing is, it was all girls. Like, there's only girls. There was no boy, no, we didn't have there was no, I don't have a brother. So it's just like, it was only sisters, so... Yeah, we usually tried to escape. We would usually go to the mall or go somewhere else, not at our home, because, you know, if they ring the doorbell and no one's answering, whoops. We don't want to get sprayed on and give you treats for doing that. It was kind of funny, but this is a Hungarian tradition.
But
I've seen it happen to my sister a couple of times.
And we experienced that a little bit. I'm not sure where that tradition came from. There's a lot of...
It's...
They also,
yeah.
Use a lot of poetry
yes,
involved in that.
the guys say poetry.
To the girls before the girls give them eggs, and then the boys...
Yeah, give them eggs or desserts or collage.
Really cool whip tricks. They have... That's like an interesting thing they do is they tame animals.
Yes, we're really good with the whips.
And stuff, and so
there's usually performances with that, with the horses and everything. Oh, that brings back memories.
Fun. There are thermal bath houses.
Yep.
That you
Yep.
have to go to.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of old men in Speedos. There's going to be a lot
That's
of
not fun,
like,
but
little kids just running around naked, because that's how they do it in Hungary. I got to go there with my wife when we went.
not all the time, but it depends upon the parents. Like,
It's just
please
super
put
fun. And
stuff on your
also
kids. Like, please
in
put
the
bathing suits.
early spring, but still kind of winter time, and so it was really warm and happy. So that's a good place to go.
But yeah, that's
I was
very
in
famous bath.
Yedachaza, so it's up north, super cold.
Wait, where were you?
I was in Yedachaza.
Yedachaza, that's where my cousins live.
Cold,
It can be cold.
We had been outside for hours, like probably 5 hours, and it was a blizzard. Okay, freezing, snowing, my boots were wet. I was wearing 3 pairs of tights, 2 pairs of socks.
That sounds normal.
Completely soaked through.
Oof.
And
Girl,
my
what are you
feet
doing
were so
outside?
cold. And so I told my companion, like, hey, maybe we should go home. My feet are kind of hurting.
Yeah, what were you
and they
doing,
were
just hiking?
hurting more than usual. And when we got home, I took off all of my socks and my tights, and my toes were black. And I was so scared.
Girl, it's your fault. You should have gone inside the house. As I said,
So I went to
you're not going to have children. The Bajis and Nazis will say that.
Standing in this winter blizzard in Hungary for hours. So it took a couple of months for me to be able to recover.
I'm so
from that.
sorry for your
usually have
feet.
1 to 2
but-
children, and they'll often give them the name of the parent.
Yes.
So you'll have a Mary and then a baby Mary.
Yep.
Or a John and a baby John. Or,
Yep.
or a Michael, Mihai,
Mihai.
and a baby Mishi.
Mishi, yep.
And so that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
Hungary actually used to have a rule that you had to name your children from
Yep.
a list of names.
Yep.
That you couldn't deviate from that list. And
Same
so
thing for my
because
name
of
and my
that, they all have the
sister's.
same common name. But at the same time, they also have
The crazy thing is, yeah, I think that rule is still, I don't know if that rule is still there or not, but I know me and my sisters were named that, but my mom also wanted to give us names that could be translated in English, like could be even said in English and in Hungarian. So it's like, it was a common name, even in Hungary and in English. So my mom was being very smart about that. So yeah, so like, for me, like this, what she's saying, completely true.
a name day. So
Yes,
that's
name
the
day.
Birthday.
One thing I was so fed up with, not with like our family, but like there was always name days, and they celebrated name days like it was their birthday. But because my mom, not because of my mom, but just like, I wish we celebrated name days like my family celebrated. We didn't, because honestly, kind of for me, like even back then, I was like, well, it's like, it's just a name day. Like, why would you celebrate like it was your birthday? It wasn't like you were born that day. It's just like, it's a name day. Like, what? And I was so jealous of all my classmates getting like presents and everything for their name day. And I'm like, what is this, second birthday? I want one. Like, I was very jealous, but kind of like mad, because I'm like, well, we don't celebrate name day because reasons. And I think it's because also my family is like half cultural, like half American, half Hungarian. Like, my dad's Hungarian, my mom's American, but we lived our whole lives in Hungary, like most of the time. So it's like, I was like, why aren't we doing at least this cultural like celebration kind of thing compared to the other things we do? And I just know, but I think maybe my mom thought it was ridiculous to celebrating as another birthday, so maybe my mom just didn't want to do that, which I can see from her side, like maybe double, like they don't need 2 birthdays, like one birthday, you know, you celebrate them, and you know, name day is just like, it's just because you were named that. Why do you get presents for being named something that was named after maybe a saint or something like that? I don't know, but what she's saying is true. I'm gonna go back so we can hear her full thing.
Deviate from that list.
Yeah.
And so because of that, there's a lot of the same common names.
Yes.
But at the same time, they also have a name day.
Yep.
So just as big as your birthday
Yes.
is this name day celebration, where all throughout the year, you have a specific day that celebrates your name. So, for example, Michael would have a day throughout the year that you'd celebrate your name and getting it.
Yep.
And that's something that a lot of the Hungarians like. They have greeting cards.
Yes, they do. Boldog névnapot.
Party.
Yep.
I was really excited because my name actually was on the name day list.
Nice.
The name list. So I have a name day too, which is cool.
The longest word.
I also thought that my name wasn't a name day, so I was kind of saying like maybe that's why I wasn't getting presents, because my name wasn't on a name day. I was so sad. I'm like, oh come on, but actually there was, and I'm like, Mom, are you kidding me? Actually, the first time I ever got a present on my name day was actually on my basketball team. On like, one of my teammates actually gave me a gift, like either a card or something small, maybe even like a candy, to say like, oh, happy name day. I'm like, thank you. It was so weird because I never celebrated my name day. Not that I needed to or anything, but it was just so sweet of her to do that. I'm like, aw, like my first gift ever on my name day. I was 14, like 14 years of my name day, never got anything. No, I'm just kidding, but I think I was 14, 15, I forgot how old I was, but it was very sweet that she actually gave me something, so I was like, aw, so I value that. But yeah, that was just like, name days are just so huge in Hungary, and it makes me so frustrated that we never celebrate it, because I'm like, I want presents. But yeah, Hungarian culture, I love it.
So I have a name day too, which is cool.
The longest word in Hungarian, because you can make a noun into a verb and a verb into a noun, and then tack on things and then make that into a verb, and so on and so forth.
Is it the
Words
longest?
can get
Is
really
it?
long. I don't really use this word.
No, we do not.
Because the context just has to be right.
Yep.
But the longest word that I know in Hungarian
It is? That is the longest word. Yes, and I remember when I was young, it was almost like you were so cool if you could say that. Like if you could say the longest word, you were so cool. Like you would be proud to say the longest word you could ever. Like it's I just remember even in school, I'm like, oh, I can say this. It's like, yeah, I'm like, not saying I'm superior, but it's almost like a form of like, if you can say this, you were cool, or like you were smart. So that's what it was. And, yep.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yep. Pretty crazy.
It means for all of your sanctifiableness.
Yep.
Which would be kind of hard to use in a conversation, but it's technically a word. One of their big industries is sunflower oil.
Yes.
There will just be fields and fields of sunflowers as far as you can see.
Go and practice. Pass those sunflowers.
Exported as well.
Yep, we
And
love
so
our
you see
sunflowers.
Fields of red poppies.
Yes! Red poppies. So on the go. Oh, that was awesome. Well, oh my goodness. That was more like self-revelation of also in like American culture. Like, wait, you don't have it. Like the ice water, like that just still shocks me even today. Like in the summertime, yes, you want ice water so that it keeps your water cold during like the hot days. But still having ice water, even when it's cold out, like are you joking? Like what? But for me, it was like, I remember when going to college and getting at the water fountain. Some people were like, oh, get ice. They always get ice. It was like so funny. Like first thing comes to mind, ice. And then they would pour water. And I remember like, I don't need ice. I'm like, I'm just gonna get the water. Or I remember getting the water first. And I thought like, wait, maybe they put ice because it's like room temperature water. I'm like, okay, I understand people wanting ice. But no, the ice was already freaking freezing cold. And they still filled up their cup all the way up to ice and with water. I'm like, what the heck? Like, that just for me is a huge culture shock. So yeah, that's definitely. But yeah, thanks guys for watching and just like hearing me out. But this is literally like, what the heck? Like for me, like what they think is crazy, for me, that is normal. Like that is freaking normal. And just if that's what like some Americans say, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm actually curious of seeing more what Americans or other people, like even just Europeans who come to Hungary and witness like what Hungary's all about, the Hungarians. So I'm actually kind of curious on what else is there. So if you guys want to see more of me reacting to my own, like people thinking like either my own country's crazy or wonderful or just random or I don't know, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to react to more of these. There's so much. I'm like kind of curious on what maybe others think about Hungarians, because you might hear a lot of other people think of what America is, and well, I can tell you this, you guys are loud. You guys are very loud. Which I'm kind of getting to as well, because I'm now getting louder and louder, because why not? I think America's changing me a little bit, but just watching that just brought back a lot of memories. I'm like, yes, that's my home. That's my culture, and I love it so much. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully see you next time on another maybe blind reacting or live reacting to random things. So yeah, again, thank you guys for watching. Hungarian is gonna be out. Hungaria.